Drink at the table. Deana needed time to think. One of the rules did say she could drink. That seemed safe to do, at least. So she lifted the drink to her lips as she read the words again. Eat what's in front of you. Remain seated until told to leave. Deana looked around. Mycorians continued to stand and reach for the delicious fruits, filling their plates and sitting back down again. As she surveyed the room, still sipping the water in her glass, it dawned on her. "Oh no," she said softly to herself. The floating words were weirdly out of order. It was a trick, but it was too late. Many had already risen, gathered fruits, eaten, and sat back down. Deana continued to sip her glass, her hands shaking as Mycorians began to exclaim how full they were, and how they couldn't take another bite of the delicious fruit. It was then that the words snapped away and she heard several screams. Arms of the chairs curved and clasped down, binding their seaters. Deana forced herself to remain seated, as the two Mycorians on each side of her struggled and screamed. Something in their seats curved and ripped off their torpid cups. A golden tube then grabbed onto their nubs, encircling them, and rippled as it sucked. Soon the screams stopped, replaced by moans and groans. Heads flung back against the chairs as the gold tubes worked their nubs until a chorus of climaxes filled the air. Gradually the chairs morphed, curving in different ways. Some stood up, leaning their captured Mycorians over the table and banging into their backsides, an unseen item repeatedly entering to provoke wails, groans, and huffs as the chairs collided into them, surging climaxes again. Other chairs remained, sucking erect nubs and nipples, tilting to dangle their feet and keeping their heads back, forging intense orgasms. The chairs were thorough. Legs were spread wide and curved, pounding forced cries of delight, and sucking sent reveling spasms. Deana's entire table was surrounded with carnal coitus. The sexual conquest of the chairs seemed to fill the air forever. As Mycorians went limp from continuous orgasms, chairs began lengthening their legs and walking off with their passengers. One by one, they left, the cacophony of sounds gradually fading. Deana soon found herself alone, straining to see if anyone else remained in the room. She jumped as she heard the unexpected voice, accompanied by the glowing words. "There are 47 Mycorians remaining. Please lift your plates and take the key that sits underneath. Note its color. Please stand and head up the stairs. Find the door that matches the color of your key. Use the key to open the door and enter the room." Deana's heart was still racing from the scene she had witnessed, but she needed to follow the rules. With shaking hands, she lifted her plate to find an orange key, with 4 incisions cut on both sides. She picked it up, pushed back the chair, and, remembering it could come alive, jumped away. Deana heard the clattering of a plate hitting the floor, and saw a worried male hurriedly pick it up and place it back on the table. She met eyes with a few who remained. Only 47 left, so many gone. Deana forced herself to head to the stairs, unable to marvel at the grandness of its banisters and carpeted steps. The grandeur wasn't as miraculous after witnessing the forced orgy. But she did notice that they no longer led to dark shadows, but to a colorful arrangement of spaced-apart doors, all facing the balcony that overlooked the dining area. They were spaced wider than the doors at the Leaf Lodging, which made Deana believe that the rooms had to be enormous. Holding her key in front of her, she searched the floor for the door that matched its color. After going from end to end, she could only find a door that was a bit more reddish than her key, but it was almost a close match. You have two choices. Open this door or surrender to hopelessness.